My name's Angel, peeking the mic. For real? Test it. Test it.
Wow.
Look at that red line.
Wow. I'm loud. Whatever. This is going to be one of my favorite episodes already. I can feel it in here. Feel that, you know? We're going to talk about, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're going to talk about homophobia.
Woo!
Are you sweating?
No.
I'm chilling too. All right, cool. But if you are a homophobe watching this, you're probably sweating. Okay, this is what kind of sparked this whole thing. There is a family member of mine who had told me that another family member of mine's friends was dropping the F word. Not that F word, the other F word. Faggot. God, I hate that word. That was the word that they were dropping. And they were dropping it in a very derogatory way. You know how like boys will get together and stuff and they'll just be like, you, da, da, da. That's kind of how it was being brought up. Like, mutual friends were checking him and being like, hey, man, you shouldn't say that. You know, that stuff's offensive, blah, blah, blah. And this guy was like, hey. No. I don't have a problem with gay people. It just can't be me and mines. So that was like a trigger for me because this guy's also from the south side of Chicago, and I feel like I know a lot of them. Were you one of them before, maybe?
I mean, I wasn't that.
I'm not trying to like clown you at all.
No.
I'm just saying like.
I don't think I was ever like that extreme, but I definitely am from like the 90s where like people said, "Oh, that's gay" or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I've definitely said that stuff, or I've been there. At my age now, like I've grown out of that.
But okay, so as a heterosexual male, what made it turn into playful locker room talk to being offensive? Like what made that click for you?
I think for me it was like an exposure thing because growing up, like I really wasn't around anybody gay. Like I wasn't around anybody gay like that was openly gay.
Sure.
So for me, I tell people all the time, like, it wasn't really real to me. And so it was one of those things where you say stuff because you don't think it's a real thing. So you don't really see it as like offensive because you've never seen it be offensive. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't really around anybody that was like openly gay that I believed, and I hate saying it because like that was another thing. I was around gay kids in high school, but like I also was kind of made to believe just by the people I was around that was like a thing kids did like for attention kind of. So like I didn't believe it in high school, and I didn't really get around somebody I believed until I was in college. So I was like 20.
Oh wow.
So it wasn't really real to me until I was like literally 20 years old.
Wow.
And so that was probably the turning point when I was like, saying this stuff is actually like addressing an actual person. These are real people when you say this.
Right.
So I wasn't really around it until I like strongly on a regular basis until I moved out here and like was around you and like, you know, people that I met through you. And then that was when the nuance of different stuff came in, or like the microaggression thing, like, and there was a lot of things I just was totally unaware of because I wasn't around it.
Totally. This isn't a coming out video, but to go off of what you just said about microaggressions, you know, that stuff is super real. And I've experienced it within my own family, within my own friend circle about what a microaggression is. So if you don't know what a microaggression is, I'll give you an example. It would be like if you were watching television and on the show there was a gay couple and then they were kissing and you say ew and you change the channel. That's a microaggression. Little things that I've noticed, like for instance, I had this one girlfriend who we grew up together. We would get dressed in front of each other all the time. It was nothing, you know what I mean? Like, we're friends. But after I came out, she like started to go into the other room to get dressed. And I was really confused at first. I never said anything because again, like The first time for me coming out, it was all new. You know, so I was learning all these things as I go along. I'm just with everybody else.
Right.
Going back to that, I'm like, wow, she really like feels uncomfortable now around me to get dressed, and like that's hurtful to me too, because I'm not looking at, you know what I mean? It's like,
But that's a thing too, like from the other side of that.
Yeah.
Like, I've been there too, where I literally had to have a gay guy that I was friends with tell me, like, he was talking about somebody else doing it to him, and he was like, I'm not looking at you.
yeah.
And I was thinking in my head, like, like that thought never occurred to me, because I felt the same way. Like, oh, if somebody gay is around, like, they're looking at you. And he was like, don't flatter yourself.
I say that all the time.
Like, so
like there's people that I had come out to, and they're like, yeah, you know, people have been asking me, you know, so how do you feel knowing that she's gay? And it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
How do you feel? Like, nothing changed. Like, newsflash, nothing changed about our relationship. I wasn't looking at you any sort of way. I didn't have a crush on any of my friends growing up. Like, all of that was genuine friendships. I honestly wish I did. I feel like that would have helped me come out more.
Because it would have been, like, more clear early on.
Yeah.
Because if that would have been the case,
Yeah.
would it have made you, feel better about being open with it and less doubtful about who you were? Because these are people that you already trust. Like, if somebody you already trusted was fine with it early on,
Yeah.
would it
Totally.
have not taken you so long?
Totally, because then I would have had somebody, like, I was alone. I was, like, on a desert island, you know what I mean? Like, I was by myself, and so, like, that was super scary for me. So, yeah, I think it definitely would make a difference, you know? So, I want to go back to the homophobia thing. So, for you, like, if you heard people being offensive with dropping, like, gay or faggot and stuff like that, like, would you say something?
If it was like in my conversation, yeah. Like, I'm not.
No, I'm not talking about like you're walking down the street and hear somebody drop the word. I'm saying like.
No, yeah.
Like a group of friends that you might be hanging out with. Because what I've noticed is that people have more of, and this is just from my experience, okay? People have more of a problem seeing two guys than two girls. I've actually had friends tell me before, you know, you're cool, like, because you're a girl. And, like, I like seeing girls and girls, but, like, guys, no, fuck that, they're faggots. And I'm like, wait, no, you really don't. It's like, you can't a la carte gay. I say this all the time. You can't.
Well, I think it's because with girls, it's because it's so normalized anyway. Like, straight girls will kiss each other. So it's part of it, I think, is because it's just a thing you're used to seeing more. And as a guy, like, obviously you'd rather see two girls do it just because you like girls, like, if you're a straight dude. But I think, like, the first time that I saw, like, two guys kiss, it was, like, jarring to me. And that's probably why it wasn't as normalized to me. So it's like, because you even see girls kissing, like, music videos and stuff. You would never see that, like, two guys in a music video.
Yeah.
And I also think in an early, like, in the 90s and stuff, too, or even, like, in the 80s, whenever you would see two guys, it was always in some really extreme situation. And that was a lot of why I didn't believe it as a kid, because the only gay person I saw on TV was like RuPaul. So it was always people that were kind of on this like fringe thing. So you didn't think it was a normal thing. And if you saw like two guys kissing, they were like in neon body paint or like some weird extra shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was looked at kind of like just some extreme like lifestyle. And then it took me again like meeting people that were just regular for me to be like, oh, like this isn't just a Marilyn Manson or like some weird RuPaul or like these extreme characters. Like it could just be a regular person that you know. I think that's bad too, because I look at it the same way people will look at black people and they think all black people are rappers or ball players or
it's a stereotypes in general.
Yeah, and it's like these popular things that you expect to run across the gamut, and it's not like that.
Yeah. So do you think that being in LA has made a difference in your exposure to it and also letting go of like past homophobic ways? Or do you think it would be the same if you're in Chicago?
Like if I never came here?
Yeah.
I think the internet has made it really different because I look at a lot of people that I know back in Chicago that were right next to me that felt the same way, who are totally different now too, and they've never, they're still in Chicago. I think the internet has made a lot of different types of people who were marginalized before, like more human, like more real. Because again, it goes to like at this point, you can't really say ignorant stuff innocently. Because you have all the information in the world in your hand at all times.
Right.
So there's so many videos and like little documentaries or this or that somebody is posting. And it's really hard to stay in a bubble of like ignorance at this point. Like it's really hard for you to not know anybody gay or not know anybody black or not know anybody, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to do at this point with the internet. So to me, a lot of stuff that I hear that's like just totally ignorant is like you're doing it on purpose. Like I can't really defend you anymore,
Right.
And so I think even if I was in Chicago, I probably would know more gay people because there would be more gay people being out because they wouldn't
there's more.
feel like
I mean,
they have to hide.
Right. No, I definitely feel that way. I feel like when I was growing up, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I didn't have what I have now. I didn't have a ton of YouTube videos to look at of people's coming out stories to even relate to. You know what I mean? So I see what you're saying. I think the internet definitely helped expose that.
High school kids are like openly gay in high school. Like that was not a thing in my high
like I
school
remember
at
my
all.
little sister had like a gay straight alliance group in her high school, and that was
like totally
I think I knew like
foreign.
one gay person in high school.
Exactly, like
That was out.
right.
When my best friend came out to me in college, like we had been hanging out for a long time, and he was scared to tell me. I remember we were parked in my driveway, and he was like, "Angel, I have to tell you something." I was like, "What?" "So you're me, right?" And he was like, "I'm gay." Like I was gonna like hit him. I'm like, come on, but that's how different it was, and
Was it like a thing where you felt like you knew it already?
no, I really didn't know. I never made that judgment on him at all. So no, the answer is no.
Because it was
I thought we were wondering if when he came out, I knew that I was gay.
Well, cause the reason why I asked is because I feel like when you told me, I was like, yeah, because I was like, I know that.
I mean, maybe my gaydar was just like not working.
Yeah.
At that moment.
That's why I can't really say I felt necessarily negative feelings towards it because by the time you told me, I had already known you for a while, like a year or 2 years or something.
Yeah.
When you said it, I was like, yeah, duh. And you were like, wait, you knew it?
I don't think so. Like for me, like knowing you, I don't think you were ever outwardly homophobic, like in a malicious, violent way. Like ever since I've known you, you weren't that way. But times are changing. You know what I mean? And you changed in that aspect where you would drop faggot like nothing before or be like, that's gay.
Yeah.
Or you're a homo fag or stuff like that. Like you would drop that, but it wasn't in, it was in like a Chicago hip hop way of talking, I guess. It's cool to see you not be that way. And then also, I took this dude to the Abbey and that was an experience, y'all.
Yeah. And that was the thing too, like going into a place like the Abbey before.
Not even a question.
I was like, hell no. And I had people like trick me into going to like gay bars and stuff. And I didn't know until I got there and I was livid.
Yeah. So wait, why?
I was livid because I was like, first of all, I was like, why are we here? And like, why didn't you tell me until we got here?
Is this the drag show that you were talking about?
Well, it wasn't a drag show, but it had a drag show at the time.
Gotcha.
But I felt kind of like bamboozled.
Yeah.
And then it was also like, I don't want to be in this because at the time I felt like, mind you, I'm like 20 at this point. I think in the back of my mind was like, people are going to think that I'm gay now because I'm at this place. And I don't know what people I was worried about, but I feel like when you're 20, you're so concerned with what other people think. Okay. And then now, like, I know who I am. And I'm like, who are these people that I'm worried about? Like, who is this person that I'm like, I don't care anymore.
So to me, like what you're saying right there is one of the reasons why a lot of straight people have a hard time standing up for gay people. Because they have that association. Yeah. I tell people a lot of the times, because here's the thing is I've had a lot of talks with my family and I've tried to explain, my lifestyle with them and what it's about and how they can help and stuff. And like you said, you know who you are. You're older now, you know who you are. Same with me. Like I'm good. I know who I am. I'm proud of who I am. But the reason why I try to be so vocal about, being proud of who you are and supporting being a straight ally is because what I've noticed is even me, who will talk to my family, they'll receive it in a way where they think I'm some gay preacher. Lately, they've told me that, oh, maybe like the best thing for you is to have like another gay family member or something, someone you can relate to. I'm like, no! I spoke for 30 straight minutes and that's what you got? That I want somebody else gay. And this is not to take anything away from being gay because I'm proud of who I am. I do believe that I was born this way. You could pull any baby photo of me, any childhood photo of me, like you can see it.
Right.
And I would never want someone else that I love to go through some of the struggles I've gone through. So no. And that's another thing is some people think that gay people have this gay agenda. Like we're out here recruiting people. Like, hey, Tony. What's up? You want to...
Come on over.
Let's be homos together.
Right.
Yeah? No, that is absolutely not what I mean at all.
They're kind of like writing you off like an angsty teen. Like, I'm so alone.
Right. And right. All she does is do this, and she just went like, that's not it. But if one of my straight family members goes and speaks to them and reasons with them, they receive it so much. They could say the same exact thing I'm saying. Mm-hmm. They'll receive it completely differently. And to me, it's because if you were to talk to somebody, like another straight guy who's homophobic and be like, hey man, like, chill or whatever, they'll receive it better than me being this lesbian coming at them. They look at me like I've got a pitchfork in my hand, like, gay, a rainbow pitchfork,
A rainbow pitchfork.
I think it's so important for, straight people to speak up when they can because it helps everything. And like I said, I'm good. The whole reason I do these things is because I can't even imagine what it's like for somebody in the Midwest, who is growing up full of homophobic people around them. And that's why I speak up. Not for me. I live in LA, who I feel completely accepted in, and so I feel good. This is for the next generation. In my eyes, I'm just trying to pay it forward and do things that I wish I had growing up.
Just back to the whole growing up part of it is, like I said, the first time I heard something that clicked for me where, like I said, it became real was I was in college and a guy was doing a speech and he was older and he said kind of the same thing. Like, a lot of people think being gay is a choice. Like, why would I choose this? Like, why would I choose to be persecuted? Why would I choose to, like, be called names or, like, lose job opportunities, all these things? Why would I choose that? And when he said that, it was like, I never thought of it that way. Then it was real to me. I stopped hearing what I had heard old people who I listened to before, who I trusted, who knew stuff, tell me that it was like a hormone deficiency, or tell me that like they're acting out, or tell me all these reasons that they had made up, not ever asking anybody gay this question or not knowing anybody gay.
Right.
And for me, it's like when I hear white people tell me about black people and I'm like, who told you that? And they're like, my dad said. And I'm like, is your dad black? Well, no. Well, so what the hell does he know about anything to do with what black people do? And it's the same thing. Like, if your parents tell you something, or somebody, so a teacher or whoever tells you something, you got to consider the source, because they probably heard it from somebody who didn't know what they were talking about either. You got to step outside of your box, out of your comfort zone or whatever it is, and go talk to somebody that's different and not be a dumbass. Like, that's really what it boils down to.
Right,
like,
exactly.
And I think now that I am not worried about what other people think, and I'm who I am wherever I'm standing. I could be standing here in a room full of drag queens right now, and at the end of the day, like, I'm still me. So I don't really, that doesn't affect me. And I think when you're younger, you just have to either have that confidence, or if you're raised by somebody who gives you that confidence and they have that confidence, you learn a lot quicker and you aren't as like stupid.
Just being open to learning. Being gay does not make you safe from being homophobic.
Oh, there you go.
Because I definitely did that growing up. It was my defense mechanism to like suppress being gay myself, because my whole life being gay was associated with bad. And so anything that would come on and my family would be like, ugh, ew. I'm like, yeah, that is disgusting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think it's actually disgusting. Do I? Do I think it? These are all the thoughts that run through my brain. This is why it took me 23 years of my life and to hit basic rock bottom depression for me to come out. You know, because I always thought that if I came out, that something was wrong with me, or people wouldn't love me anymore, or I was going to hell. This is deep.
I mean, I remember like coming up too, where it would be like gay people would be like, yeah, the ones who hate on it the most are probably in the closet, and I was always like, that sounds ridiculous.
Was true for me. It was definitely true for me, because I lived life like nothing. You know, I lived life as a heterosexual. I went through all of the motions, everything. I dated guys. I was in relationships. I'll tell this one story is that, and I ran away. I ran away from it. So I had a Purple Heart, and I hung out with this dude, Mike, on my block. And I was in 6th grade at the time. And in 6th grade, I was still flat-chested, had a bowl haircut. So I looked like a little boy. And he's like, we're gonna go hang out with these girls. I'm like, okay, cool. I wasn't thinking anything of it, you know? I'm like, okay, we're gonna hang out with more people, cool. So we pick up these 2 girls. They ride on our pegs. So he's got one girl, I have another girl, and we're just, they're riding on my peg or whatever. And we're just hanging out. And then we go drop them off. After we dropped them off, after hanging out, I had to go home and check in. And then I ride back over to Mike's. And when I get to Mike's, he's cracking up, like laughing, hysterical, crying, laughing. And I was like, what? And he's like, she likes you and thinks you're a boy. Ah! Mortified. I turned beet red. I was like, I gotta go. And I hopped on my bike, went home as quick as I could, and just like didn't want to come out.
Like the fact that you were mortified by it is interesting to me.
I was mortified because I knew I liked it. It was one of those things where I was coming to terms with who I am, but I was terrified of that because of what I was taught.
Right.
And that's it goes back to why I want to be some sort of voice or resource for people that may be like me, who may feel that way, but ends up kind of hating yourself because you're feeling this way and you don't know why you feel this way, but you know you feel this way. But there's so much of your environment and people in your life that tell you that it's wrong. After that, that was the last time I kept my boyish image. I grew my hair out after that. I started wearing girls' clothing. I started to wear makeup, like anything that took away from that. That was the incident that did it all. So then I went through all the motions, right? First boyfriends, going to dances, dating people, you know, being sexual with men, all that stuff. And like, the only way for me to put it is I felt nothing. And that's no offense to any of the people that I dated. Like, you guys were all awesome. During the time when I went to Columbia, this was the first time I met a lesbian.
Same. So that's crazy that like we both made it that far, like all the way to college, without ever like coming in contact with it.
My first development pre-production class, I was partnered up with this girl, Sandy. We had to have a worksheet and ask each other about each other. She was, I live with my girlfriend. We have a cat. I'm not making this stuff up. I was like, whoa, she's gay. This is crazy. I was in the closet still, you know? Yeah. So she would invite me to go hang out with her and her friends, and we'd be going to lunch and stuff. And I remember there was a group of us, and it was all of her lesbian friends, and we were all hanging out, and they were all like, yeah, Angela, you come to lesbian night or whatever. And Sandy was like, she's not gay. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not gay.
What?
But I'm not gay at all. It wasn't until I would always go to the clubs. One of the girls that worked at this one club that I frequented, and I still was very feminine at that point, but she grabbed me into this back room and like pushed me up against the alcohol locker thing and just made out with me and then left. And I was like, what is going but I liked it. That was the first time that I admitted to myself that I liked it. But still, that didn't make me come out of the closet at all. I still went through the motions, did everything, and then moved to LA. It was fine, like the first couple months, I was super happy, and then I hit like rock bottom. I just went into this deep, dark hole of depression. And I kept asking myself, this is everything that you wanted. You're here, you're trying to go after your dream. Why are you so unhappy? What is this? And then it just clicked with me. It's because I'm gay. Actually, I couldn't even admit that I was a lesbian. I had to say I'm bisexual at first. It's kind of like the
gateway.
Yeah, it's the gateway, the gateway to coming out fully. So that's a little bit of insight to my coming out story and what my environment and the microaggressions against me led to my story.
She kind of brought this idea to me to do this video and was like, would you do it? And thought that like I would be like, well, I don't know. I thought it was a good idea because I do, again, feel I'm fine with who I am. Like, and I know who I was, what I've said in the past, what I've done in the past. It's a growth process. And I think everybody's growing together just as a society and like learning more about being exposed to more stuff. And that's really what it boils down to. I'm like, I will be one of those people that stands up for it because, again, now if I hear it, to me, you're talking about her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about a person to me. And so it means something. And I think whether you know somebody gay or you don't, you can't say that it's not real. The homophobic thing, to me, is just as stupid as racism.
Exactly. And I think you nailed it with just knowing somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's why it's so important for me to speak up because a lot of the people in my life that I know have been homophobic or maybe still are or hold some sort of homophobic microaggressions and don't know it. It's like, I'm a homosexual. You know, this is that personified for you. Mm-hmm. You grew up with me. You've known me your entire life. Does that change anything? Am I some sort of like alien or unicorn? I mean, I'd like to think I'm a unicorn, but I'm the same person that you had sleepovers with. I'm the same person that, you know, did whatever. I'm still that same person. And so that's why it's important for me to make sure that I help those people that don't know. So if people are not sure or would like to know more about it, you know, hit me up.
If you do know somebody gay, ask them. And if you're worried about offending them, don't be, because gay people are some of the toughest people as far as like what they can take, because they've heard it all of it. If they know you're coming from a good place, you're not going to hurt their feelings. Like, they've heard way worse.
At the end of the day, we all want the same things in life. And there is no place or room for homophobia. There just isn't. You know, my heart breaks every time I see stories of younger people from the community that are going through depression or end up committing suicide because they can't take, you know, being bullied or certain things that are around their home. So don't be a part of the problem, be a part of the solution and help spread more love because the world needs it.
Drop that mic.
Yeah. Thanks for agreeing to do this subject, Tony. I appreciate it.
Like and subscribe.
You know?
And shout out to everybody who's been like messaging us and telling us that they enjoy this show. It's been super motivational for me to keep doing it. And
for us.
Yeah.
For us. Like, it's awesome. Like,
yeah,
seeing you guys engage with us is so amazing and keep doing it.
Pow.
Woo! Ugh. Your coccyx hurts too?
Nah.
Oh, mine still does.